Hello and welcome to IRL FP here under the lights in Bahrain for the final round of the season. Of course, all the titles now wrapped up, all the drivers have nothing to lose, so might kind of up the aggression in drivers, maybe give us a few more close battles, and of course this track certainly promotes it, so hopefully we should be seeing a good race here, Ollie.
Yeah, of course, we've got the return of Fran McGinn, the Scotsman, of course, willing to impress, who joined Matthew Alder, of course, in the Haas, our championship winner, of course, with Sondre Sorhaug in the Renault, his championship compatriot. But we should be a good race, as you just mentioned before, under the lights here in Bahrain. Be interesting to see what order we have, and hopefully we have a close race with hopefully Matthew not winning for once.
Yeah, and I mean, with the Haas, that Ferrari engine is certainly not going to be helping out down the straights either. So if he does win, then I mean, he's the GOAT, so no one should really be surprised. But it would be really a hard-fought win, or you'd think it would be. Just trying to find someone on a lap. I think a Haas is first. Yeah, that is actually Fran, if you want to take him on a lap, Molly.
Yeah, no worries, Kevin. So heading into turn one, Fran McGinn, of course, braking nicely just at the start of the curb as he misses the apex slightly, up into third gear, short shifting up through the gears, make sure he don't spin out on that corner because it's very easy to do so, using the curb on the right hand side, open the gears wide open, picking his braking zone. You want to go for that little 100-metre board there, nice dip in the apex. He's got that Haas that's going to have a horrible front end, struggling to get the power down, so it took 2 goes to go in purple sector 1. Is that flat? Yeah, just flat in the Haas. Make sure you pick your braking zone, don't go too deep. He doesn't go too deep, he goes too short. You don't want to go on that curb because you can lose time under traction. Make sure you brake nice and straight for this corner, try not to lock up your front left as he does very poorly, and he's got on that curve the exit, very scruffy lap here from Fran McGinn. Of course, he usually plays GT Sport and he's just getting back into F1, and hopefully we'll see him more in the next game. Maybe see him in IRL F1 next season on the new game. Of course, with the bait codes coming out, he'll be wanting to get involved in that. Using the curves, that's effectively, don't clip that inside curve because it can spin you around, so you've got to be really careful for that. Still purple sector 2. Takes out the apex very nice for that corner, might validate, what a shame there for Fran. Just went wide slightly and picked up an invalid lap time.
Yeah, certainly unfortunate there, as he might just still, as he is actually going to at least set himself a kind of banker, which would have been 27.6, so certainly not a good lap, but obviously the Haas is certainly not going to be helping out with that either. So gonna try and find someone else then. Lewis Curtis is invalid, he's coming through the final corner. Michael Marlowe actually the first one to set a lap in the Racing Point on the mediums at 27.8, and Lordy just behind him also on the mediums in the McLaren in 28.1. So certainly should be seeing quicker times later on in the session, so don't take this for granted. Of course some quick people still yet to set times.
Quite an awkward phase in a minute because you've got a few drivers in the outlap and just trying to get the lap started again. I've noticed there's the likes of Matthew Alder, Lissa Romanino stayed in the pits, Sondre stayed in the pits, Ross stayed in the pits. So yeah, Cameron Young. So
Bruce Salingis, as I'm going to call him on this stream on purpose. So I hope that he watches it back. Oh yeah, it is Tim Bruce Stadens, but I kind of like to call him Bruce Salingis because why not? We have Tim, of course, on his lap. He's approaching turn 4, going to be finishing up sector 1 on the soft tyres, of course, so should be a purple sector 1, as it is purple sector 1 in the AlphaTauri. A pretty good car, kind of a midfield car, a reliable car you can say. So coming through the double left-hander, certainly tricky, especially with no ABS as Tim is running, I'm fairly sure. Or maybe he only ran it on pad, but regardless, he goes through it quite nicely now. Approaching the left-hander and then the very long right-hander, which you have to keep off the curb, certainly, to avoid spinning, as that curb is kind of just a curb of death. As through finishing sector 2, he's once again purple in sector 2, as you would expect. Of course, only 2 other times being set. The next person, Charlie King, just behind Tim to set a lap, so he'll be the one maybe challenging. I think he's on the mediums though, so he'll have to be looking for a second most likely. So across the line for Timber Stallions, it is a 26.8. Of course, he's going to be on provisional pole position, and Charlie King, if I can find him, I can't, but 27.0 for the Mercedes driver, and puts it in second place.
Is of course talking about Tim Bustalens. He is racing on pad at the minute, but we may see him switch to his new wheel come the new game, or perhaps even any other events going on after the season. He's got himself a Fanatec, and hopefully we can see him use it more often, and maybe he can find a bit of time using it, as he'll have a smoother input, and it may motivate him to play the game more. So we could see a lot of potential come out of Tim Bustalens, and maybe see him feature in IRL F1 next season.
Yes, certainly could. Of course, new games offer new opportunities to move up the pecking order, if you want to put it like that. So maybe Tim, with his Fanatec, will be able to use it to his advantage. Of course, this game certainly favoured to wheel. If next game is also kind of favoured to wheel, then won't be looking too bad for him anyway. Sondre Sorog now is on a lap as he comes through turns 1 and 2, as he's got a little bit of traffic in the McLaren. I think that is Lori, or it should be at least. Or actually, no, it's Paco Suarez. Never mind then. Both of them out on, both of them out on outlap. So kind of a 50-50 shot there as he comes through Sector 1. Sondre Sorog is purple in Sector 1, so certainly could be challenging Tim Bustalens here in the Renault. Of course, Renault power pretty good in the eco cars, so we'll be helping Sondre out a bit as he exits the double left-hander. Certainly tricky. Of course, Sondre certainly without ABS anyways, he's going to be approaching this left-hander. He needs to use the curb and then chucks the car in and get on the power as early as possible, because that'll affect your run all the way through to this right-hander. Here is purple in Sector 2 once again, as you'd kind of expect. Sondre, certainly a good driver, of course, in F1. So give him a good car, he should be able to do well. It's through the final corner now. We'll see how well Sondre Sorog can do across the line, and he is going to put it on provisional pole position with the 26.0.
Paco Suarez is just crossing the line, and he set a 1 minute 26.5, which I think might have been invalid. Perhaps he's done a new lap here. We have a few Ferraris crossing the line here. Cameron, of course, invalidating. And what's little Rumanini doing? He's going pole with a 1 minute 25.9. I'll be happy about that, but he's giving his teammate Cameron Young a bit of slipstream here. Nicely done, the two Ferrari boys working together.
Yes,
Cameron Young,
yeah, go ahead. You were taking him anyway,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. Sorry, Cameron Young should be in the mix this race, hopefully. From what I've heard, he hasn't been spinning as much in practice. So hopefully he can have a consistent race. Of course, he's been transitioning to wheels similar to what Tim will be doing. But he's improved a lot, and he's been putting a lot of time to the game recently. So, he's showing a lot. Oh! I've jinxed it, he's round. I jinxed it.
Yeah, out of the hairpin, spinning round, so that's not going to be a good lap if he does choose to set it anyway, as he's gone down with the ERS, so that is most likely going to be a lap aborted. Paco Suarez, however, certainly not aborting his lap, as he's purple in Sector 2, of course, in the McLaren, so certainly a good car to be in. It's going to be approaching the final corner. He's got the Renault of what should be Sondre Sorog, only one Renault here, so it is Sondre Sorog opening up DRS, and Paco Suarez is going to go fourth with a 26.5. So couldn't quite get it on pole. 6 tenths off actually. Nino, the only one in the 25s at the moment.
All the Ferraris are out of fuel, I think. Who else do we have on a lap? What's Tim Bustalens doing? He's on an out lap. Michael Marlowe, I believe, is on the in lap. Both of McLaren's in laps. So yeah, I guess we've got to pay attention back to Tim Bustalens. He's getting a lot of camera time today, isn't he, Kevin? I'll let you take him for his lap.
Yeah, it's of course his 100th race as well, so nice for him to get the extra screen time. He'll certainly be hoping for his sake that he'll be able to do well here, as through turn 3, of course, tricky sector 1, despite only having 3 corners to it. Well, actually 4, as this corner also counts as exiting this corner. We'll see if he's purple in sector 1. He crosses over. He's slightly up on his time, but it's not good enough for a purple sector, at least, as he's going to be coming through now. The hairpin, of course, Cameron Young spun here not too long ago. Timber Salience isn't going to have any problems with it, as he comes through the double left-hander now. Very tricky under braking, but he gets it right, as out of the corner now, opening up the DRS, and we'll be able to see how well he'll be doing in a few moments as he comes through the left-hander and then flat right-hander, if he's going to be up in sector 2 or not. Of course, his sector 1 is pretty equal, as sector 2 is going to be, as he crosses the line, a 10th down, so he's not actually improving on his time at the moment. So he might end up aborting this lap at the end, unless he can find a lot of time in these final 2 corners. As through the final corner for Tim, a little bit up on the curb, which certainly isn't going to help, as he is going to go into the pit lane. No improvement for Tim Bruce-Higgins. I kind of realised how stupid that was, calling him Bruce-Higgins on stream. Well, the moment I said it, so I won't be doing that, but nice to have it maybe in once if he watches it back. But yeah, everyone in the pits, that's kind of boring. Well, 5 minutes remaining as well. They're probably going to be waiting till the end of the session. I guess we could kind of go through predictions, Ollie, of who we think could take pole in the final runs. If you're here, even. Okay, Ollie has left me suddenly. Okay, well, at least we're going to have some sort of on-track action anyway. As the McLaren of someone, Timber Salience actually out again. So, he's going to be getting even more screen time. That other one was actually Lordy, starting his outlap. So, Timber Salience obviously looking for some clean air anyway. Have you muted your mic or something, Ollie? Maybe by accident. Okay, I don't know what's happened with Ollie then, but he's not here anyway. My predictions, I guess, quickly would be, if Cameron can get a lap in, I think he can take pole. So, because I don't think Matthew's qualifying today. So I think it would be Cameron from Nino, and then third, I am gonna go with Sondre Sorog, because he tends to do well around Bahrain. But starting the lap now for Timber Salience once again, as he comes over underneath the 5 red lights, or lack thereof, of course, in qualifying, but through the first turn, the hairpin, and then turns 2 and 3. Approaching turn 4, you really gotta go wide here to try and gain as much time as possible. Hasn't necessarily done that. He should really be right up on the curb, but he is ever so slightly improving as he comes through the S section, as the Mercedes actually of Charlie Kin getting out of the way for Tim, as he's going to be approaching the double left-hander now. Judging by watching Tim so much, I don't think he is running no ABS. Looks pretty ABS to me, as I think Ollie is back now. So,
yeah, sorry, I just had to help my mum.
Yeah, that's fine. Timber Stadium's now coming through the left and then right-hander, both flat, of course, as he approaches turn 13. Purple, apparently, in Sector 2 at least, as he's almost a tenth up, so not really looking like anywhere close to pole position, but might be able to improve by maybe a position or two if he can get these last two corners right, as he's going to be opening up the DRS flap now, and across the line he is going to improve, I think. Maybe a small improvement, but not enough to beat Lordy, of course. Very close between the two, and then Lordy improves, of course, getting ahead of Paco Suarez with a 0.3.
You just see Michael Marlowe starting his lap. Lord is slightly getting his way, but Lewis Curtis retired from the session. I think he's stuck from the back. Having a bit of fun because it's the last race of the season. Just trying to see who else we can pick up for a lap. We've got Cameron Young on a outlap, Sandro Sorag on an outlap, Paco Suarez on an outlap, as well as little Roman Nino, or people to be concerned with. So Matthew's staying in the pits, and so is Fran. That's their session done. Be interesting to see if they play any alternate strategies, if they play any two stops, if they play a free stop just for the laugh. Of course, I reckon Matthew could do a free stop and still win, knowing his insane pace. But let's try pick up someone to go with.
Well, I have been on board with Michael Marlowe, as he's going to be finishing up his lap. Of course, just finishing up Sector 2 at the moment, as he goes through turn 12 and approaches 13, ever so slightly up on his time. So, not really looking like a huge improvement. He's going to need a pretty significant improvement if he wants to go on second or even pole position, but through the final corner for the Racing Point driver, as of course the last time that he'll be in this kind of position, I guess, in a way, being the last race. Next race a complete reset, or next season you can say a complete reset, but I think that was an improvement once again, but similar to Timber Sailings, not enough to go place Charlie King in the Mercedes, certainly improving to a 26.0, but not enough for pole position, although he came very, very close to it. Sandro Sorag now looking for this pole position. He's going to be approaching the final corner, as going through it in a few moments. He's got an AlphaTauri driver just ahead of him of what should be Timber Sailings, as he gets out of the way. So across the line for Sandro, or actually not, as he's going to be going to the pit lane to finish up. Nino Romanello now is up on his time, or at least if that's correct, as he comes across the line. Can he extend his advantage? He can. 25.7 for Nino Romanello, so it's looking like Paco Suarez is going to be the last one, but he's finished today. He's going slowly, and there's a Red Bull here. He's invalidated. Ross Denham is also lost his wing. Not only invalidated, but his wing is gone as well. So this is looking like the grid. Nino Romanello on pole position. As I think we're just waiting for Paco. We are just waiting for Paco. So, to go through, of course, Nino Romanello on pole position, 3/10 ahead of Sandro Sorag in the Renault. Charlie King rounding out the top three. Michael Marlowe in 4th, Lordy 5th, Paco in 6th, and Timber Sailings in 7th. Lewis Curtis seemingly set an invalid lap time maybe there. Is Matthew Older, Francis, and is that Sylvain Vezier maybe in 11th? Because it's not showing up for me. Ollie.
Yep.
Can you see who's in 11th?
In 11th place we have Bavesia.
Okay, yeah, I thought as much. So Ross behind him, and then Cameron and RV rounding out the grid. So for the drivers to get their strategies in order. Kind of looking like a two-way fight at the moment between Sondre and Nino. Nino seemingly with the advantage. Of course, he had 3/10 on him, but Sondre, to be fair, didn't get his final run in quali, so maybe Sondre could have been closer. Maybe he could have taken the pole position. You never know. Of course, we'll see who takes the win within the next 40-45 minutes or so.
Who would you put your money on?
Personally, I would put it on Nino with Sondre in second, and I will put a Matthew in third because he's just scolded, isn't he?
It's just Matthew Older, you know. Love how Matthew Older doesn't qualify and still ends up 9th.
Yeah, I thought he was meant to change his driver number, but that looks like an unchanged driver number though.
So outside of the top 7, we have Lewis, Matthew, and Cameron on the hards, with Francis McGinn, Bavesia, Ross, Denell, and Arby all on the mediums. So we've got a good mix of strategies here. I reckon we'll see a Lewis, Matthew, and Cameron go for a very easy one stop from hard to mediums, with a Francis McGinn, Bavesia, Ross, and Arby go for a medium hards. Of course, that is a better strategy.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, the top 7 are locked in on the softs. Everyone else can do whatever they want. If there's an early safety car, then the guys in the hards will... It's kind of debatable if you want to look at it as screwed over, or that they can do a medium to the end. But I think the medium runners are being better. Oh, that he has.
Hopefully that won't add any penalty points to him, of course, as he's still dangerously close to getting a season ban. Oh, Matthew's been disqualified, so is Lewis, so it seems to have been a little bit of a debacle going on between them two. They're really getting a bit heated, and they haven't even started the race yet.
Yeah, Nino Romero, of course, is doing fine, leading this formation up, and of course he'll be hoping
any of those hard or medium runners have any temperature in the tyres.
Yeah, that's certainly something that he'll be looking for, so they get worse starts and he can lead away, as he'll be hoping, through turn 1. But Sondre Sorag, I think, will be right up his gearbox, looking to steal the lead off him. Well, not really steal, don't think that's the right word, but take it off him, certainly. And don't count out Charlie either. Of course, he's got a Mercedes. That's got to be worth something for a better start.
I'll go on board with a very toxic tomato and a very red Ferrari, and we will see what happens at the back. So I'll give you a little update from the back of the grid halfway through the first lap, and Kevin will keep an eye on the front.
As we have 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, And it's lights out, and away we go, and it looks like Nino has got the start he wanted. Sondre Sorog is going to have to settle for a second place in Mercedes. Right at the back of him, looking down the inside into turn 1, Nino Romanello is going to lead. Sondre Sorog is actually getting overtaken by Charlie King. He looks around the outside, but not able to make anything of it. The Racing Point is going to fend off Tim Brusselins, who actually had a pretty good start, getting himself up into P5. The two McLarens seemingly losing out to the AlphaTauri drivers through turn 1. So leading Nino Romanello ahead of Sondre Sorog, Charlie King, Michael Marlowe and Tim Brusselins the top 5.
She's looking for the back of the
and
grid.
actually,
very clean though.
Sondre, is actually getting overtaken again by Charlie King, the Mercedes, on the outside for the double left-hander. It's going to be very tricky to leave each other's space. He's going to still try around the outside, but he's going to get squeezed out by Sondre Sorog, keeping his P2, and it looks like that is going to be the case for now. So I think you can now kind of say what has happened at the back.
So, done a little bit of analysis of the back of the grid, and I've seen quite a bit of overtaking. Of course, Matthew Order making up one position, and Ross Denham getting 2 and Fran losing 1. Into the hairpin, Ross has completely dive bombed. Oh, Bovettia! We've seen the Red Bulls going to and fro and been dive bombing everyone. Ross absolutely sending it down the inside of Fran again, cutting the inside corner of the hairpin and just pushing him wide. Personally, I wouldn't be happy with that driving standards, but Fran has got to deal with it. Ross Denham was looking very racy on Lewis Curtis here, and he's wanting to make moves immediately as he's using all his ERS, to make a move on Lewis Curtis, but Lewis with the Mercedes engine should hopefully put in front. Lewis Curtis isn't defending the move.
Yes, Sondre is once again under attack by Charlie King for P2 though, as the Mercedes once again is going to try around the outside of turn 2, but once again Sondre Sorog is going to fend him off, but a massive dive bomb from the Mercedes driver to try and get this P2, but Sondre Sorog is not having any of it, and he's going to retain the P2 going through turn 4. The fight behind all, you were watching it, and actually I think it's still going. The Red Bull and Lewis.
Yeah, this fight has been clean here, but Lewis and Ross are going to start the whole lap. Oh no, it's Lewis and
that's Vezier actually. Oh, the Haas in the background has actually been touched. I think the Red Bull of Vezier goes off track a little bit, seemingly for a bit of understeer maybe, but he's going to have to stick behind. But the Williams Francis losing out a little bit in 12th, but luckily not losing. DRS is actually the Williams once again under attack by Sylvain Veziers. He's going on the outside, off track again. Surely enough for a warning by now, as he's going to be on the inside of the Williams, and this time I think he's going to be able to make the move on the inside. Surely the Honda engine going to be helping out there as well, as he goes again off the track. Surely this is going to be as we look at the penalties, none at the moment for Sylvain Vezier, despite very much cutting the track a few times. I think up ahead Lordy is going side by side with Michael Marlowe, and if nothing really comes of this fight, I don't think so, as up in 4th place Lordy has made up a place on Michael Marlowe, and Tim Mercedes losing out actually.
Round. Matthew Order's already got a 3-second time penalty 3 laps into the race. One of the most consistent drivers, of course, of the season getting penalties. He's already got one after 3 laps in the race.
Yeah, and just to check that wasn't... It is actually 3 seconds, so, yeah, Matthew Alder getting warnings. It's not like he hit anyone and got a stupid pen. He got those penalties on his own accord, or the pen on his own accord, the warnings on his own accord. And only one on the grid right now with a penalty, so certainly not a good way to start off the race here on what is only lap 3.
Yeah, Lewis Curtis has lost a lot of time to the likes of Matthew Order on the opposite of Hards. He's been fighting with Bavessi the whole of the last lap, and he's lost about 4 seconds to Matthew Order.
As someone else who's been fighting, I think Sondre Sorog has finally been passed by Charlie King, and Charlie King now trying to make a bit of a gap, 8 tenths between the two of them, but Sondre Sorog is certainly going to be able to close up a little bit now with a bit of DRS, as of course Laurie, after making up a few places earlier on, is actually in the background. Tim Brusselins maybe trying a bit of a move, or actually that's Pacosaurus on a move on Tim Brusselins, I should say, and now he's up into P6, and Tim is back to where he started, down in 7th.
Tim's already got no ERS left, but he breaks very early. Doesn't want to have a collision with Paco Suarez. No risks are being taken here.
Yeah, sensible driving. Of course, you don't want an incident, especially not this early in the race. That could just ruin it entirely. So sensible driving usually is the way to go, as they all funnel through the double left-hander. Nino Romanello right now with a 2.8 gap, almost 3-second gap. He could get a penalty and it almost wouldn't matter. So Nino really showing how good he is at Bahrain. Of course, he calls it most likely his best track on the game, and well, I mean, he's kind of showing it right now, beating the rest of the grid by quite a big amount. Of course, Matthew Alder didn't actually qualify, but if he did, I don't think he would have been too close given the Haas. So I think Nino kind of has this under control, and at this point, if he doesn't win, it's kind of a bottle, as Sunray Sorog now is on the back of the Mercedes, is on the inside of Charlie King, and I think he's going to be able to place this car well enough. As actually, no, the Mercedes is going to be able to keep it on the outside, inside for turn 2, but he had to back out of it, and the McLaren now of Lordy is getting involved on the outside of Charlie King. Charlie King now going to be losing out 2 spots as he does. Down to P4, was leading this train.
Oh, yellow flag here. We've got Lewis Curtis spinning around. He's not really had the best of races, has he? And that's just going to add salt to the wounds. But he's going to be near Francis McGinn, so they may have a little bit of a fight later in the race.
And is that?
Oh, yellow
that's
flag.
A crash at the exit of the hairpin, and a full safety car.
Oh,
Nino Romanello is. I'm not actually sure. Maybe he's going to go on to the hards to the end. I think it's possible. So, I think a blessing you can say. Yeah, people at the back, I think, will be.
The safety car. Fran, no. Oh, poor Fran. He spun under the safety car, and that's a very rookie error there. But I imagine we'll see Little Romanino head into the pits and do a medium strategy. Same with Sondre, Lordy into the barrier, and Paco Suarez, as well as Tim Rosalens. This early safety car really hasn't helped them out. It's come out slightly too early for them, I think. We may see a couple of them go to hards, do hards and mediums potentially, but I don't think the hards can make the end from this early on.
I think they can. I think I've seen them brought this long before. The tyre wear won't be so nice at the end, but I think it's very possible. And it is a strategy that that works quite well, because of course you have to stop one less time. So Nino, of course, onto the hards. Most people, or actually everyone who was on the softs, is now on the hards. Some people at the back going for mediums. Or no, yeah, Lordy did go for mediums.
The mediums.
Yeah, some of the hard runners went on to mediums, which is understandable, but Lordy on the mediums from softs doesn't look like the right strategy call.
I reckon he'd be doing mediums, Lordy. So 11 laps, I think, on each tyre, because he's near the front of the field, so he could very easily do mediums here to the end. It's legal, and it may work out strategy-wise. Maybe the most, maybe the quickest race strategy in the end, but drivers has messed up really is Matthew Alder and Cameron Young, and they've jumped a lot of runners here. They will still go to the mediums at the end of the race, but it's down to whether Lissa Romanini can go at the end, and I think we'll see him go onto the mediums towards the end of the race. But I think Lordy could be in a very good position as well, going medium at the end, of course, starting soft, so he has the option and the opportunity to do that.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, kinda zoned out, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying about Lordy on the mediums. If he can make overtakes on the guys ahead, which should be possible, given the grip the mediums will give you, I think he could put himself in a pretty good position, of course, right now in fourth. So if he can make the 3 overtakes and start making a gap, maybe he can put himself in a good position. Looking at it, of course, Matthew Alden now leading, so he's going to be able to do yet again another safety car restart from the lead, which he tends to do. It's very well used to them by now. Nino Romanello and Cameron Young, the two Ferraris just behind him. Of course, Cameron hasn't pit yet. Is that a Renault in the background who's lost some places? That's Sandro Sorog.
Did he spin or did he go off track?
It looked like he was off track for a second.
Lewis and Fran have had a severe collision and Fran's around. He's got wing damage. So his race has gone from bad to worse.
Yeah.
But he's now got to stop, and I believe the safety car may be coming in this lap, so he's going to have to stop again.
Yeah, it might actually be in this lap. I'm not sure. Yeah, it should have came out lap 5, so 6, 7. It should be in this lap, yeah. So it's not going to be up in that at all.
And going wide at the exit of turn 4. I have no idea what happened. I missed that. RB was miles back. He had a drive-through very early on for jumping the start, and was just making his way back up to the back of the field. So we may see another lap because RB is so far back, which of course would help Fran out so much. But he's still got to deal with that drive penalty. So Fran is in the mud, would be fair to say, Kevin.
Yeah, he kind of is at the moment. Things not really going right for him. Of course, he might get lucky with the safety car staying out another lap, but it looks like, I mean, only one driver hasn't caught up yet. So I think he's not going to be so fortunate. Or actually, maybe he is. The safety car seems... Or no, did it show up on your screen? Because it didn't show up on mine.
Yeah, staying out another lap. It'll be interesting to see what happened. Maybe they were just messing around, or Fran just caught up and didn't expect Lewis to brake. Well, maybe some weaving in the straight and then Fran went into the back of someone. Not quite sure. We'll have to ask him after the race. Oh! Fran's overtaking Lewis, go to the pit lane! Ah!
Or at least he tried to, but didn't actually quite work. Got very close to it though. As both of them now into the pit lane. Their pit box is very close together. But Lewis Curtis has to serve a time penalty, it seems. Or actually both of them serving a time penalty. So I guess whoever hit who gave both penalties, and well, it's not a good situation for either of them, but at least they're going to be able to catch up to the safety car though. So now we actually have a case of a Haas leading and a Haas at the back. Kind of the entire grid in a Haas sandwich.
Fran's changed over to the hard compounded tyres. He's able to get his wing fixed, of course, but Lewis has made a crucial decision to change to the medium, so if he had wing damage, do you know, Kevin?
Oh my god. Sorry, who were you saying there?
Lewis, did he change his wing or did he just choose to change to the medium strategy?
I don't think he had wing damage. I don't think I saw a wing getting changed. I think it was just that he had the penalty when he pit. And that was it.
Oh yeah, probably just wanted to get rid of that 5-second time penalty.
So now Matthew Alder slowing it right down. Which is fully entitled to do. It is very, very slow, but... My word, this is slow.
Matthew doing a lot better.
Safety car is going to be in, like, before he rounds the final corner.
So at the end of the pit lane. Oh, Murphy's nearly spun it.
As he's going to continue here, might end up bringing this to the line, you never know, but he's still weaving.
I reckon Nina's going to get a good jump here.
As now he's finally gone. Cameron Young right behind. He didn't actually respond well. Nino certainly has got a jump as he's in the inside of Cameron Young, side by side between the two Ferraris. Lordy is certainly going to be picking up the pieces if anything does happen, but on the inside, Nino Romnello of the other Welshman, and he's going to be going up into P2. Lordy's going to have to settle for P4. Sondre, a little bit of the pressure from the Racing Point maybe, as the Racing Point closing, using a little bit of VRS, trying to close up to make a move into turn 4, but not going to be able to do it, as Lewis Curtis now on the inside of Paco Suarez in the McLaren, and he's going to be able to pick up a place. And the Haas of Francis trying to make up for lost time as well on the inside. Outside for the next corner, it's going to be a little bit tricky as actually Sylvain Vezier gets involved, 3 wide momentarily, as the Haas is going to be able to go through. Paco Suarez might end up losing another place here.
Harvey's round.
Yeah, it has actually 3 places.
Harvey's spun again.
Unfortunate for RV then. So Matthew Alder, of course, he started on the hards. He's continued to lead, but he has Nino Romillo, of course, right up the back of him, and Nino is also going to the end of this race. So if he's going to be able to pass him, it's certainly going to set himself up well to be able to take this win quite dominantly. Of course, his closest competition at the moment is Lordy and Sondre, kind of, because Lordy on a different strategy, but doesn't look like he's making those tires work quite as well as he'd like. Or, well, I say that, but he's actually made a move on Cameron Young side by side now between the two. Lordy has not got any DRS, actually, neither of them opening the DRS flap, so they're going to have to rely completely on slipstream. But side by side between the two leaders, just caught that in the corner of one of the cameras, is up into first place once again. Nino Ranello, he's going to retake the lead from Matthew Alder, and now he can push on and start getting a gap.
Fran McGinn and Pavesi just gone side by side for turn 2, and it's caused Fran to lose a little bit of time, and Paco's been able to get the overtake nicely down the inside into turn 4. It's been quite a bit of squabbling going on at the back, just trying to decide who wants what position, as we see the likes of Mr. Romanino getting past Matthew Alder. Surely that will allow him to go home free. But you mentioned Lordy being his closest competition. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot forget about Matthew Alder in this race. Of course, he is a 4-time world champion, of course. For a reason, he is the best on the grid, and even on those set of hards, he is going to be mighty, mighty quick. And he still can't countermatch towards the end of the race when he goes to the mediums.
That's certainly true. I was just kind of looking in terms of like on the same strategy as competition. Of course, Matthew Waller is still someone to think about. The Haas certainly not going to be doing him any favours, though, unfortunately. As Lordy now on the back of Matthew Alder. Matthew Alder has since lost the DRS to Nino Romillo, so Nino is getting that gap where he needs to be, as RV now has crashed out. But on the inside, Lordy is going to take as a virtual safety car right before that move. Has he made that move? Yes, I think Lordy has just about made that move before the virtual safety car, but I think it was very close.
Well, what that's crucially going to do is allow Lordy and Nino to get all their battery back from using it from overtaking Matthew Alder, as well as the likes of Cameron, Sondre, who are on low battery, Ross Denholm, who's already used 50% of his battery after one lap. Tim is just allowing them just to restart and have a fresh start. Fran McGinn, of course, pitting again after serving his drive-through. He's going to be a long way back. He would have loved a safety car, he would.
Yeah, I mean, he did actually get one as well, and I mean, well, he's back where he was earlier, so
he bottled it. Just enabled green
now. So Lordy is gonna have to defend maybe a little bit from Matthew Alder. Of course, Lordy's sights will be set very much on the back of that Ferrari to be taking the lead away from Nino, so he can start to make some gains. Of course, Nino going to the end. Lordy does have to make another stop. Those mediums will not go to the end. Matthew Alder's hards, of course, has to be changed by the end because he hasn't stopped yet. And Cameron Young, the very same in the Ferrari. As actually, we might be getting some fighting between the two former teammates in F1 as well. Around the final corner for Cameron Young. he'll have DRS, but Matthew Walden might just still have DRS on the guy in front, as he doesn't actually. So Cameron Young is going to be able to close up going into turn 1, as Matthew Walden is going to swoop to the inside to try and defend. Cameron Young is going to be forced the long way around. He's going to have the inside for turn 2. He's going to be trying to squeeze Matthew Walden out. Matthew's going to keep it in there though, still side by side. Sondre Sorog's teammate.
But here comes Sondre Sorog.
Yeah, his teammate
Sondre
trying to go
Sorog
around the outside. 3 wide between the three, of course, all of which have been teammates in some sort of fashion together. And looks like Sondre Sorog's going to go through. He has actually gone through and round the outside now, trying it on his teammate Matthew Walden, seemingly letting him go there.
Move.
As Sondre Sorog up into P3. And well, they're still fighting though, as on the inside the racing point, Michael Marlowe making it work, as Sylvain Vezier, I think, or actually no, this is Ross Denholm trying to make a move on the Ferrari of Cameron Young, side by side between the two. Cameron Young pulling ahead in the straight, but through the corner. Who's going to have
that to happen?
Yes, side by side between the two of them. Ross Denholm on the outside, Cameron Young on the inside. He's going to be outside for the next corner, but Ross Denholm is going to be able to make that move stick for now, and Cameron Young down to 7th place.
Absolute shambles there for Cameron Young. He's gone from challenging for P3 to down to P7. He's lost so many positions. He's gone back instead of going forward. And we're going to see a complete role reversal here. Michael Marlowe trying to make a move here on Sondre Sorog. I wonder if we see any other moves going on the field.
Yeah, Lordy has actually caught up a bit more to Nino Manel, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Of course, that's mediums versus hards.
Cameron Young down the inside! Contact! Ross Denholm was going to push Cameron wide. Absolutely no respect there from either of them. Cameron's going to give a little bit argy-bargy back. We're going to get a good view here from Tim as Bavesi goes down the inside of Ross Denholm. Who's going to come out alive here? 2 Red Bulls going side by side. Is Bavesi go down the inside of... a little bit of contact for... the Red Bulls
a little bit of damage, and yet they have actually came together, the 2 Red Bulls. I think that is, Ross with the damage in the background as well. Paco Suarez going side by side with Timber Salins. Timber Salins on the inside. He should be able to keep Paco at bay, and he does for now, as the next target, of course, Sylvain Vezier. So Ross Denholm, despite the damage, was able to get ahead of the other Red Bull. As up front now, Lordy still 8/10 away from Nino Romnell, but I think he has a bit more of a chance this lap. Of course, he's had a bit more of a chance to close up.
Lordy used all his ERS just to try catch up.
That might be a little bit of a problem then, to catch up that final bit, as Nino Romnello seemingly keeping the gap at about 8/10 despite Lordy having that DRS advantage. But now down the straight he's going to be able to close, but it's not going to be enough going through turn 1, as Sondre Sorog now under pressure from the racing point of Michael Marlowe in 4th place, but no moves going to be happening there either, as Lordy up front does actually close up a little bit more, 6/10 the gap now. As actually Tim Mercedes making a move on Paco Suarez as well, or Paco maybe making a move on Tim, I think. Not able to get around the AlphaTauri.
I wonder how long it'll be until we see the likes of Cameron Young and Matthew Walden pull into the pits and stick on a set of mediums. Surely you've got to imagine it being a couple of laps time, but they're going to have a lot of ground to make up. Especially Matthew Walden with that 3-second time penalty. And with a slower car, it'll be a lot more of a difficult race for Matthew. But Lordy's pushing along very well. He's catching up to Nino. Just trying to stay crucially within that 1 second range, so then he can use his DRS to pull him along. But you've got to say that use of the battery is going to hurt him later on in the race when he's going to be wanting to push. But Nino seems to have it in control for now.
He certainly does, as he's increased the gap to 9/10. So he's, if anything, kind of getting away from Lordy rather than Lordy closing in. So, Nino really doing what he needs to do to take this win. Of course, once Lordy pits, he'll be 4 seconds ahead of Sondre Sorog, who's also going to the end. Michael Marlowe behind Sondre Sorog, both of them going to the end, so surely we'll be seeing some fighting between these two, as Matthew Olden in the background has lost DRS to Michael Marlowe, so it's just a straight fight between the Racing Point and the Renault for this P3, what will be P2 when Lordy inevitably pits. but no moves from them at the moment, as Cameron Young now has closed back up to the back of Matthew Alder, and I think this time he's going to really try and make this move work.
Paco and Lewis going side by side. Lewis Curtis goes round the outside of Paco, finally getting himself into the points. Lewis is going to have to make some moves here if he wants to get any positions, because he may potentially have to stop again. Of course, going to the medium, 6 laps to go. I think we'll see Matthew and Cameron set up for another 4 laps and do around 10 laps on the mediums. Creating a nice little one stop for them, but they're going to, as I mentioned before, they're going to create a lot of excitement towards the end of the race when we see a lot of overtaking from them. Where do you see themselves finishing, Kevin?
Are you asking me where I would see Cameron finishing and got mixed up there then?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Cameron and Matthew, of course, they both have to pit again. They should be pitting soon at least, as they're going to be staying out for this lap. Cameron Young is going to be closing up, might actually be able to make a move maybe on Matthew Walder as he closes going through turn 1. There's actually a move happening up ahead, and that nothing's going to come of this. Michael Morrow trying it on Sundry Sorg. He's going to have the inside for turn 3, side by side between the two. Both pretty good on straight line speed, but Michael Morrow is going to pull ahead and go up into the podium places, as Matthew Waller in the background is going to keep Cameron Young behind, and the Red Bull also
Lewis and Tim
involved.
Little bit of argy-bargy wheel banging. Tim holds on to the position. Lewis fails to make the move down. Will he try to send it down the inside into the hairpin? Surely he's too far back. Yeah, I think it's better, but just trying to get a good run. Extremely... Oh, Fran McGinn is retired in the pit lane. I don't blame him. He was that far behind, and there was no chance of him having points unless it was a safety car. But you see the likes of Lewis Curtis being held up quite badly, and of course in a much slower Williams compared to the AlphaTauri. Ross Denham still carrying on with that wing damage in his front right. Do we expect him to stay out to the race and just suffer along with it, or will we see him come into the pits?
It's certainly it's an interesting concept. Obviously he feels he's not getting affected by it enough, as he is continuing on, and he is kind of keeping pace with them up ahead, but of course he's also got those fresher tyres.
Cameron's
into the pits. Cameron Young, he's going to be looking for an undercut on Matthew Alder, and the undercut is quite powerful in Bahrain, so Matthew Alder should inevitably be responding to this next lap. A side by side between Sundry Sorg and Michael Morrow. Sundry trying to get his P3 back here, as he's going to be looking for a slipstream, maybe going to turn 4, but he's not going to be able to get close enough, and Michael Morrow is going to retain his P3 at the moment. Sundry Sorg and Michael Morrow really fighting hard for this.
I think the reason Cameron Young was going in the pits is you can see Ross Denham gaining on him, and of course with a superior Honda engine and with Ross's aggressive battling, you can see himself losing a lot more time, so it may have paid him off just to pit earlier and maybe allow Ross to battle with Matthew, so Matthew would lose some time. I can see that being a very smart idea, but we'll see where he comes out at the end of the lap.
Yeah, we certainly will. As it looks like no battles are happening at the moment, but certainly we've got the recipe to continue getting battles, as Ross Denham is closing up with Matthew Alder. As I did actually notice, he does have to lift in the flat right-hander there because of that wing damage, most likely, but he's going to be in the slipstream of Matthew Alder. Matthew Alder, if he doesn't come into the pits, I think he is going to get overtaken. So round the final corner now, Matthew Alder is going to be looking for pit lane, and into the pits he goes. So Cameron Young now is going to be looking for this undercut. He's exiting the penultimate corner now, with also a... Yeah, I said as Cameron Young is going to be rounding the final corner in a few moments, on go the medium tyres for Matthew Alder, and he gets away well, so it's going to be side by side inevitably between the two, unless Cameron Young has got enough of an undercut. He's going to be closing at least, and side by side maybe. I think he has pulled ahead, as actually knows I can't get a good angle, as Matthew Alder is going to be side by side with Cameron Young, but Cameron Young is going to pull ahead of the Haspa for how much longer though. He does also get DRS to help him out down the second straight, and he is going to be able to make that undercut work. Only just though.
Yeah, I think Matthew has got to play a smart game here and let Cameron do the hard work in the corners, of course. The Ferrari having a lot more downforce. They've got the same engine, so maybe if Matthew can just sit behind Cameron and make Cameron burn all his ERS that he has, which he doesn't have a lot of, and Matthew can maybe just sit behind him and allow Cameron to pull away and then pull him along down the straights, which may be a more effective way for them to catch up to the likes of Paco Suarez, who was just 15 seconds up the road, of course, but on 11 lap old hards. I wonder what state those tyres would be in towards the end of the race.
Yes, I mean the hards, pretty much everyone on the hards right now, or you're actually literally everyone on the hards at the moment, are going to run into tyre problems by the end of this race. Lordy has stayed out a little bit longer. Should be pitting this lap, or you would expect to split it between the or kind of split. I mean, he's kind of stayed out a little bit longer than you would expect in a way, because his mediums right now will be more worn than the mediums will be on the last lap of this Grand Prix. So he hasn't split it evenly, which is an interesting strategy call. He's sticking with Nino Romanello, but he's not able to close up as much as he'd like. Sandro Sorg also not closing up to Michael Marlowe as much as he'd like either, you would think. As you can see,
Sandro Sorg's got a full battery. Maybe just been sitting behind saving his battery. Maybe learning off the likes of Matthew Order how to save his battery a lot better than everyone else, and that's a very useful strategy to use, especially when it comes to the end of the race when the battery is so crucial to making an overtake. Speaking about crucial to make an overtake, something you need is DRS to be able to do that overtake. The magic number around the truck, I believe, is 6/10 for to make an overtake. So if you win that gap going into the main straight, you should be alright. But Sondre just on the cusp of the DRS. You see as they're going through the detection. I think he's just about got it. Yes, he has got it. So crucially, he will be able to stay within range of Michael Marlowe for the next lap or so.
Someone else who's going to be sticking in the range of someone is Lordy, as he stayed out another lap, so maybe looking to go on softs at the end instead of splitting medium stints. So obviously he must have a fresh set of softs to go on to.
He's going on the softs for 9 laps. I don't think the softs can do 9 laps. Pushing it. He'll be putting himself in punches territory, but it's going to be very close towards the end of the race with those punches. But he's going to have to gain a lot of time back on. Of course, he's got the quickest car compared to Matthew and Cameron, but he's got a lot of time to gain if he wants to make anything out of this race. But you've got Lewis Curtis just behind him, so Lewis Curtis will say thank you very much, and he will hopefully nab onto the DRS for a lap or two and try and make something out of his race as well. Maybe try and get a P10.
I'll certainly be looking for it anyways. Ross out on the softs, he's certainly going to be having tyre problems by the end of this race, because even pitting this lap is a bit risky. He's already pit onto the softs, so very early decision from him. Cameron Young still ahead of Matthew Walder in ace, and they're going to be looking to make up some places, maybe looking at a 5th at best, I think. Yeah, Lordy is in, so presumably we'll be coming out probably between the train for 5th place and Matthew Walder and Cameron then. As, yeah, pretty much exactly that, out of the pits, in between the two fights, pretty evenly.
8 laps and softs, that's pretty doable, I'd say. Be on the edge, but Ross is really pushing it. Professor Jason goes soft as well. I wonder how much Lordy can gain. He'll have mighty lap times here. He'll be trying to go for a little fastest lap attempt as well while he's at it in the McLaren. Very quick car.
And Lewis Curtis has made the move on Ross Denham, it seems. Ross is going to come back at him on the softs. Or actually, no, this is Vezier. Never mind. But regardless, on the inside for Vezier, switchback attempt to Lewis Curtis, but he's not going to be able to make anything of it, and the Red Bull is going to be the one who continues to stay ahead.
Cameron Young's gone deep into the the deep left-hander. Turn 10, I think that is. Just looking at the gap he now has, he's brought the gap to 5 seconds, of course, thanks to Lloyd pitting, but the gap's around 9 seconds to Paco Suarez here, so they've really been putting the hammer down, and they're one of the quickest cars on track, but they've got Ross coming at them thick and fast. So Matthew Order's going to be wearing that time penalty, of course, but Cameron should be in the clear.
Into the pits, Nino Romanello.
And Michael Marlowe.
Interesting decision.
How might gamble and stay out.
And actually, he's going to come out maybe behind Lordy. Lordy is going to go through. Nino is going to be on the inside. He's going to try and fight this, but Lordy, yeah, he's gone through and he's undercut Nino Romanello.
Nino Romanello's coming back at him. Lordy using all his batteries to defend. Is he going to set it down the inside? Yes, nicely down the inside using the Ferrari power, which is very difficult to do so. Nice and clean move. And Nino will have 1 lap fresher tyres, and this will be a mighty battle towards the end. But 2 seconds up ahead, you've got Tim and Paco, which are on much more worn tyres. With Sondre 12 seconds up the road. Let's see, have a look at the gap to leader. So Nino's got to gain 13 seconds roughly to close the gap down to Sondre and Sorhauge within about 7 laps. Can they do that? Can Sondre Sorhauge manage to keep the tyres from puncturing? I think it'll be a masterclass of a strategy if he can do so.
Yeah, of course, Nino is going to be approaching him quite quickly. As you can see, the grip difference, of course. Tim Brusaden's on an equally old hards as Sondre, and you can see between the two, the grip is just completely like Nino's in a different universe with the grip he has compared to the AlphaTauri, and through he goes pretty easy. And his next target now, Paco Suarez, to go up into P2, and I think he's going to be taking this very soon. As Lordy on the back of the AlphaTauri of Tim Brusaden's, Nino on the inside. It's McLaren getting overtaken and a McLaren overtaking, and both complete their overtakes.
Michael Marlowe's got past Matthew Order already, and he's already going past Cameron. Is Cameron going to fight back? Yes, he is. Oh, Cameron's nearly round. Matthew Order gets past.
And up ahead as well, Lordy ended up making the move on Paco Suarez as well. So really it's a case of first Nino, because Nino does have a bit better of a gap at the moment. I think he has gapped Lordy. He has over a second to the McLaren, so you won't have to worry so much about giving Lordy DRS to kind of pull him along at all. So Lordy is going to have to work to get back in the DRS, but 9 seconds now between Nino Romanello and Sondre Sorhauge, and that gap I think is going to be plummeting for the last few laps.
He's already gained, after 2 laps, he's already brought the gap down from 13 seconds to 8.5 seconds. You've got to say Sondre Sorhauge is very vulnerable. Of course, when you can see the driver on the other end of the straight, that is very motivating, and that will surely give Nino the encouragement to push on for the win and can just hold his win back, of course, after starting on pole. Sondre Sorhauge, what do you think he's going to finish? Do you reckon he'll finish without having any tyre issues, or what do you reckon will happen? Nino Romanello's
I think he'll make it, like, for sure. I mean, I've seen the hards go this long before, but it's just like Nino.
Tim's in the pit.
He's going to be approaching, I think, a little too fast. It's now the gap 7.5 seconds. Tim is into the pit lane, and he's going to be emerging in last place behind Lewis Curtis.
Gap down to 7 seconds. Sondre's got all the battery in the world to play with, though, to defend, though. So it's going to be very difficult for Nino to make a move as well, and he's got the Renault engine to defend him, so this may be a very difficult battle to have on the straight. However, if Nino Romanello could run out the corner, then surely he'll be able to get the move done. But
yeah, and I think it's going to be pretty simple to make the move, because he has caught a 1.5 seconds on this lap alone, and he hasn't even finished it. So yeah, there you go, almost 2 seconds on this lap alone. So 25, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 5 laps to close what would probably be a 5.5 second gap by the time he crosses the line. Very possible with Sondre on those old hards, but Sondre is sticking with the strategy, so he's maybe doesn't have trust in the strategy working, but he's committing to it, so he's going to look to get the win this way. As Nino and Lordy as well. Sondre Sorg will have to think about Lordy making a move potentially on him as well. Although a gap an extra 2 seconds back to Lordy from Nino.
Michael Marlowe's catching Paco thick and fast though. He'll be have to worrying a lot as well. 5 laps to go then. Nino needs a catch. Just over a second a lap. Which at the moment he is doing. Just got to be careful about he doesn't burn his tyres out, because he needs to be able to have enough to make the overtake as well. It's one thing to catch another driver, it's another thing to overtake, as a great Murray Walker once said. And we'll see this demonstrated today. Who will be the better driver? Who will carry on and win the race?
Yes, now 4-second gap going into 3 seconds now for Nino. And of course his soft's still very much fresh, as you can see. Momentarily Sondre Sorg showing up, as we should have a bit of a view. You might be able to see Nino Romanello in the background of some of these camera angles as he goes down the start-finish straight to start lap 26 out of 29. So 4 laps left for Sondre Sorg, and the gap 3.5 seconds, but it is plummeting really. It's going down very quick, and certainly a bit too quick, I think, for Sondre Sorg's liking.
Oh, hello. Ross Denholm is going for a move here on Cameron Young. Will he make a move on Matthew Order as well? No, Matthew Order's boxing Ross in, stopping him from making the overtake. Cameron gives him a little bang. Oh, but a bang from both of them there. Being very aggressive driving from all these drivers around this area, but Ross has got no battery left. Matthew Order's got 50%.
Yeah, did just catch that as you were commentating over it. As of course Matthew Alder on the mediums going to be able to retain his P6, which in a Haas at Bahrain, where straight line speed is so crucial, certainly looking like a good result. But he does have a penalty though, which he'll lose out to Cameron Young, not to Ross Denholm, but certainly he'll lose one position anyway. As Ross Denholm now looking for a move on the inside. Softs versus the mediums on the inside for the Red Bull against Sass as well. And Ross is going to go up into P6.
Cameron Young's going to be very wary here though, because Ross could still pull away a 3-second gap on him. Of course Cameron isn't carrying any time penalty, so he's going to have to be really, really worried here.
Yeah, and just have to say the lead now. Nino Romanello within a second of Sondre Sorg. So I think very soon, I think the inevitable is going to be happening, and I think Sondre kind of knows it at this point. So that you can see that red Ferrari in his mirrors as well. And yeah, maybe not even next lap, maybe in the middle of this lap, Nino might be able to do it, as you can see how much grip as they come through the S section, going to start sector 2 here. As Nino Romanello right at the back of the Renault, he's going to be, I think, kind of just keeping it patient. He doesn't need to make it any earlier than is required, because he knows he'll most likely make it as he closes up, going through the double left-hander, and Nino Romanello, which with a much better exit side by side, opening up the DRS, and Nino Romanello on the inside is going to be taking this lead back for himself, and yes, he does, in front of Sondre Sorg. And now Sondre Sorg is going to have to be looking behind himself rather than ahead, of course, as Lordy is the next to pass him, and he still has 2 laps to do it. As Nino almost already broke the DRS. Luckily for Sondre, he's going to be able to keep it for the start of lap 28 at least, which he's not going to be complaining, to help him defend from Lordy for a little bit longer, keep ahead of Lordy for a little bit longer. Michael Marlowe is kind of just in no man's land, ahead of Paco Suarez in 4th. Paco, of course, in 5th. He's got a very quick Ross Denholm though in the Red Bull.
going to be looking for a move, but Pacosaurus without a penalty, I think he should be able to keep this P5 for himself. Cameron Young on the back of this train. And it doesn't really look like any moves are going to be happening there. So it's really, the last battle is going to be between Lordy and Sondre, it seems, as we approach the final lap of this race.
I just realised I'm on mic mute.
Oh well, there's Lordy on the back of Sondre anyway. He's going to pull to the left, and I think this is going to be a pretty simple move, similar to what Nino did the last lap, and up into second place.
Will those tyres hang on though? That's the big question I think that's going on here. You can see the graining on the front tyres. I wonder what state the rears look like, but you can see on the front left and the front right, if you go on board, you can see there's a different shade of colour on the front tyres. Surely that's not any good news.
He's only got one lap left to hang on though, and if he can hang on, then it'll be quite a nice P3, I think. Obviously, you know, going for the a strat, kind of like a Hungary strat in real life, if you want to put it like that, and Spain indeed as well from real life. In this instance, Verstappen being Sondre, and Nino doing what Hamilton did in both occasions, pitting late in the Grand Prix onto a fresh set of a quicker compound at least, and well, you can see what's happened here pretty easily. Up back into where Nino was, and it's looking like a pretty simple victory for Nino Ranello in the end.
We're going to keep an eye on this battle between Ross and Paco and Matthew and Cameron. As they're heating up, you can tell Matthew's going to want to make a move on Ross, of course, because he has a penalty. Paco's slowing everyone down, making everyone bunch up nice and early. Paco blocks off a move that Ross could go down the inside for, potentially, but I reckon we're going to see Matthew being the sly young fox, should I say, potentially go for a move here on Ross, but Ross has got a much better exit on Paco. Those soft compounded tyres are doing him an absolute treat.
Yeah, on the inside for Rossenum, it looks like he should be able to make this move on the McLaren, and he does so. As the Haas trying it on the outside as well, inside for the next corner. Just to note, Nino Ranello has crossed the line, and he's your winner today, but still fighting going on though, as the Ferrari on the outside. This is Cameron Young trying to make a move on Matthew Walder. On the outside, it's going to be side by side actually, going up to the line side by side between the two. Of course, Cameron Young is going to gain this on penalties, but side by side between the two, both Ferrari powered. Matthew Walder is going to take it on track. Cameron Young is going to take it on penalties, and a nice fight to end off a great Grand Prix. Nino Ranello, your winner here, ahead of Lordy, and Sondre Sorog, unfortunately, not able to take a win, and he's going to have to settle for a P3.
I think he'll be happy with that, to be honest. P3 is a good result for Sondre. I think he's lost out one position, though, after qualifying second. But you have to say that was a really good race, of course. We're seeing Nino Ranello creating the Hamilton strategy, and of course the strategy masterclass as a well and truly deserved win after qualifying on pole.
Yeah, as he is going to be able to spray the champagne. Nino Ranello, of course, your winner today. Lordy, you got to remember as well, he started down in what was, I think, 5th or 6th or around there.
Fifth.
Yeah, 5th. It would have been ahead of Paco Suarez, so certainly a good drive from him as well. Questionable to go into the mediums, but he made it work to get into second, and Sondre running out the podium. So going through quickly, of course, Nino, Lordy and Sondre, your podium finishers. Michael Marlowe in 4th, Paco Suarez holding off the cars right at the end for a P5. Cameron Young improving on penalties for a P6. Ross Denham and Matthew Walder dropping to 7th and 8th respectively. Tim Mercedes in his 100th race for IRL, picking up points, unfortunately not on the podium or anything, so maybe not the 100th race he would have hoped for. Vezier is going to round the top 10, and then Lewis Curtis, Francis Arvey, and that is Charlie King to round out the top 10. Of course, Lewis finishing your DNFs 12th through 14th. So just going to quickly get the top 3
As there's Lordy.
I'm living on the floor tonight.
Oh, he sounds happy about his P2 then. Any ideas on Nino and Sundre, Lordy?
Oh, they should be coming.
Okay. Actually, I think I added the wrong account for Sundre. I should be joining now. There's Nino. And yeah, I was right. Wrong account. So, once we can hear them, because of course they take years for me. And there we go. So, we'll start with you then, Nino. Of course, race winner today. Really, not much bad to say. I mean, you won, of course, which is great for you to end the FP season off, and also surely a bit of confidence is for you to try and beat Matthew on Saturday as well. But yeah, you started on the softs, of course, taking pole by what was 3/10 in the end, although Sondre wasn't able to get his last lap in, so you never know what could happen there. But you took pole anyway, and made all the right strategy calls and took the win.
Yeah. Quali was good, because obviously Sondre had a scrappy last lap, so guaranteed me pole. Had a good start, broke away from the battles behind, built myself a good gap, and then obviously the safety car brought everyone closer again. And I was just gambling whether to go double medium or hards to the end, and I went hard to the end, but yeah, halfway through I knew I wasn't gonna make it, so pitted onto the softs and yeah, won.
Yeah, I guess the only real the only real question there would be, were you confident in the softs that you would take the win? Of course, the gap may have looked a little big, but you got it going on to, I think, the third last or penultimate lap or something around there.
Yeah.
So were you confident that the softs would bring you through to a win, or were you thinking maybe it was a bit of a tall order?
At the start I saw it was like over 10 seconds, I think, so I was quite worried that I wouldn't make it, but then as the laps went on I saw the gap was just coming down massively, so that was reassuring. Now, I knew I had to make the move on Lordy as soon as I could, because, you know, he overtook me on the pit stop, so I just had to make it as soon as I could at turn 4, I think. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah, and there's really there's no like next race. Of course, this is the final race, and a nice way to finish it with a win. Maybe comment, I guess, on what you're thinking for next season. Of course, FP always brings some surprises. Maybe a reset could bring you more into a championship fight. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I got the triple today, the fastest lap, pole, and the win. Just had to get that out, you know. Yeah, next season's gonna be interesting. Yeah, with all the new cars and stuff. hopefully it brings me a bit closer. I mean, I've been runners-up in the drivers 2 seasons in a row now, which is a bit annoying, and the constructors obviously. But yeah, no, it'll be exciting.
Okay, well, congratulations on your win then, and good luck for next season.
Yeah, thank you.
And Ollie, if you want to take Sondre then.
Hello, Sorhaug.
Hello.
How was that? After missing the last race or two, finally being able to end the season on a high with a podium in FP. Finally outscoring Matthew, of course. How does it feel to end up on the podium? Were you a little bit concerned that your tyres would puncture? And do you want to tell us about how close you were to the puncture?
How close? Well, let's just say I could have punctured about 4 laps before we ended. Driving over the line with 90 plus tire wear, so we were close to puncturing, yeah. But I knew I had pace today, but like with Nino, he was just a little bit too quick, and Lordi also showed great pace in the race. So when they pitted, I figured that I already at that point realized that my tires were gonna reach 80 plus. Didn't figure 90, but at that point I figured that only chance of a win right now was to just stay out and try to hold on, and well, 3 laps less in that race and it would have worked, but still happy with P3.
Was it a gamble? Was a podium what you're hoping for, or were you just going up for the win? Was it a do or die kind of situation?
It was, yeah. I mean, I could have pitted and I would have still been probably taking third. I kind of just sat with Michael after he passed me and saved up my ERS to make me win him, so could have done that and easily gotten to the end, but when I saw them pitting, I knew that it was unlikely, but that was the last chance at still getting that win, so just had to go for it, even though I knew the tires weren't gonna be great.
Yeah, fair enough. Overall, how would you reflect on your season? Would you say this is one of your better seasons? What's some positive you take away from this season, and what are your targets for next season?
Well, I mean, the season has been decent. It's been I've had some good races, some disappointing races. To myself, at least, especially France. I believe I could have done better than I ended up doing, and then now at the end of the season, I've missed a few races. Really didn't like that I missed Brazil, but yeah, to end at Bahrain and getting another podium, it's been a good season overall.
Yeah, fair enough. I've just been looking through your progression through the season, and you've had a few standout races, including Baku, where you got a P3, and this is your second podium this season. So overall, yeah, like you said, a fairly decent season and something that you can continue into next season. Hopefully, you can have a better constructors fight with Matthew Wood. Of course, you won it this season, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But I'm sure Matthew would like you to be a little bit closer next season, which of course will be in the next game coming out on July 16th, and I think that's something we all should be looking forward to.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Next season, I think Matthew might need me to be a little closer. To be honest, with obviously new cars, and well, we've seen in real life how the cars are now, and there is one clear worse car compared to how there was 3 clear worse cars on this game. So it'll be interesting to see, but still depends if we're a teammate. I'm not completely sure about that, since I might be missing some races, but we'll see.
Kevin, do you want to add anything? Sorry.
No, I think you covered pretty much everything there then. So, yeah, I guess we'll finish with Lordy then, if you're here.
Oh.
Well, obviously you took a P2 today. Maybe some people might have questioned why you went onto the mediums and not hards, but obviously you were the only one of the soft runners to go onto the mediums. Some people at the back who started on hards, of course, went on mediums as well, but you were the only soft runner to do it, and well, mediums to softs, and you got a P2.
Yeah, that's right. Do you want me to elaborate on that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Simplest thing. Just everyone's a retard, and I'm really smart. Basically, I don't know why people put on the hards. It was just the stupidest thing in the world. I don't get it. The hards were never making it to the end, like comfortably. They were going to die, and you were going to do the last 5 laps like Sondre did. I think Sondre.
A little on the edge.
Yeah, Sondre probably was the only person I'd gamble doing it just because he had the pace to pull away from everybody else. But everybody else, I just don't have a clue what they were doing. I used my brain, did some research on Bahrain, and there no way. It was like lap 5 the safety car came out and people were pitting for hard, so it was very, very extreme. But yeah, made the most out of a pretty terrible qualifying from myself. P6 or 5, I think it was. It was an awful lap, just couldn't find the pace in qualifying. But as soon as the race came in, I made some nice moves to get past individuals, Tim and Paco and people like that. And then yeah, I kind of got a bit surprised by Nino. I probably helped him out a bit actually. Me and him obviously were trundling around. I was on the mediums and on the hards. I had so many opportunities to pass him, but I stayed behind because I thought Nino was going to stay out anyway at the end. So I thought, oh, it's an easy sort of win for me if Nino stays out. But I actually reminded him that it might be better to pit, which was really stupid. I don't know why I did that. I'm just too nice sometimes, I guess. But I reminded him to pit, and I never thought he'd take my advice, but I saw my opportunity, my window of opportunity, which was I pitted before him on a fresh set of softs, and Cam and Blizzard obviously were in terrible cars, so they were just not going to catch me. Or Cam didn't have the pace in the Ferrari, and obviously Matthew in a Haas is just, he's quick, but he ain't that quick. So I just had free air to sort of push. The tyre wear was really good in the McLaren, and yeah, I was a bit gutted I didn't get P1, but I had no ERS to sort of spare when Nino came at me because I pushed so hard on the outlap. So yeah, it was good timing from Nino, and Nino genuinely was the quicker driver. So yeah, very good afternoon for myself.
Yeah, and I don't really think I have any follow-up questions. You kind of covered everything pretty much. I guess looking to next season then, if you would be in FP, that is, you never know, like if things come up or something like that. But if you were in FP next season, do you think you can maybe try and fight for a title? Of course, it's going to be on new games, so new opportunities that way as well. So what do you think you could do next season?
It's going to be different. I imagine people will roughly stay sort of the same. The game isn't going to change too much, I don't think, because obviously the big F1 changes are coming the year after, so that game will probably be massively different. I imagine people will be roughly the same pace. Some will get better, some will get worse, but everyone will be sort of roughly in the same area. I have got the potential to be an F1 driver, that's why I'm in F1, and I have got potential to be a lot quicker than I do, but I work a lot of the time, so it's quite difficult to find the time. But yeah, the best thing to do, and this is in my opinion to everybody, is just have a clean profile of racing. If you can show people that you are clean to race with and you've got pace, you can't go wrong, and there is no reason for you to not be in the league. So hopefully whoever's in charge of FP and of F2 or F1 next year, hopefully my application, if I submit it, is a good one, because I've proved that I am a clean racer and I can battle for wins and podiums. So
well then, optimistic then for the next season, and of course good luck with next season as well, and congratulations on your P2.
Cheers, mate.
So that has been IRL FP, the final round in Bahrain, and it was quite a good one to finish off with as well. Plenty of racing, which was nice to see, and hopefully we'll see more of it next season. But yeah, that was me and Ollie, of course. Presumably for the last time, because by then he should have his wheel. If he doesn't, then there's something wrong. But yeah, that has been myself and Ollie, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.